In this video, I'll be showing you a demo of the Maat Legal estate planning system. My name is Rilus. I'm an attorney and the founder of Maat Legal. My career began about 20 years ago working as a law clerk in my father's estate planning law firm. So I've had a lot of experience studying estate planning in a high volume law firm. So I had a chance to see lots of different types of scenarios. Maat Legal is a culmination of what I believe to be the future of law. I've had partners, I've had associate attorneys, and the current place I'm at is growing with software, virtual assistants, and leveraging technology. So Maat Legal, there's three parts to it. The first part is some software. The software does the intake part of the client. It makes that easier to get the information from them. It's where you enter the drafting instructions. And then it's also, it does the review process. It allows the clients to review who their trustees are and the information about their estate plan. So software is one component to Maat Legal. The other component is a virtual paralegal. So instead of having software that's perfect and cumbersome and way comprehensive, I have a human to run it. So that way it makes the process easier, combining humans and technology together. The third part of the Maat Legal estate planning system is all the processes that we've developed over the years, things that I inherited from my father's firms and have improved over the years. So let's take a peek. Let me share my screen. I can show you what it looks like. So here's maatlegal.com. If you go to this attorney login, once you're set up, this is what your screen will look like. So this is the demo client I have set up. When you log in, you'll see all of your clients here. We're going to talk about Mr. Estate today. So when you have your client meetings, what you'll do is you'll show just this screen. So you can share this screen. Now they actually will receive a link where they can complete this information themselves. So ideally, this is completed before your meeting. And what's nice about this is we can see once they submit it. So if they haven't submitted this information before their first meeting, they're going to get at least 2, if not more, reminders from my team telling them the importance of completing this before the meeting. So we get started in our meeting. I like to ask, how they found our law firm and some information about them. If they're married, information about their kids. How old are the kids? Are the kids married? Are they divorced? Are they widowed or single? And then are they common to both of the parents in the relationship, or is it just one of their child? So we can make those distinctions there. Now, back when I was sending a paper inventory, this was only 2 pages. So I feel like it's the duty of the attorney to ask the questions during this meeting and don't rely on a long, comprehensive interview. So basic information, what types of accounts they have, do they have beneficiaries? And then where I go in my meetings, so usually I end up talking about probate. Do they know what probate is? Have they experienced it? Show what a trust is, how a trust avoids probate. And then we can make a recommendation for them. So this is what we call the welcome packet. It has a little intro letter and the timeline here, and then the fee agreement. So a lot of times they start asking about fees, how much is this going to cost? So I say, well, first, before I show you the cost, let me show you the timeline. Let me show you how the process works and what's included. So today's meeting, we call it the personal family legal session. Next, I'm going to show you the fee agreement. And if you're ready to get started, we'll collect a deposit of half and we'll start designing your plan today, right now. And then after this meeting, you'll have a chance to review the drafting instructions, approve the drafting instructions. Then we'll get together for an attorney review meeting. This meeting is where I review the documents together with the clients. So after they hire us, we get the drafting instructions. The paralegal sends a link for them to approve and review the instructions. I'll show you that here in a moment. And then they'll come in for the attorney review meeting. So this is where I actually review the documents. And then they may sign in that meeting, but we'll definitely have a third meeting. A lot of times I like doing the review meeting virtually via Zoom. And then I like them to come in and sign everything, and we'll go over the funding. which is how to transfer the property into the trust and everything they need to do to make sure their plan works. So as part of our binder, we have a section right after the trust to go over funding. And I also have some resources for the trustee, which are pretty handy. And then we include a digital counterpart that we call the digital vault. So we scan everything as well and send the clients all their documents that way. There's a link to it on maatlegal.com. You can find right here, this digital vault. And then my website, Dana and Associates, I have another link to it here as well. This is the timeline. Now it's time to quote a fee. So then I'll show what everything included in the package. And I'm seeing how nervous they are with the fees, and if they are, if I need to lower the prices and make an offer, or do they seem good with the fees? But I also like to emphasize our digital asset planning. This is something where I feel like there's few doing it, if any, doing it better than Maat Legal. But we provide some general digital asset language, which allows the trustee and agents to get information about their accounts. And then we have a digital asset trust to leave specific instructions. The last page of this welcome packet, I have a digital asset inventory and checklist. Usually people don't realize that they have digital assets, that they can give instructions for these types of things that they have. So this is a place for them to start thinking about those things and to get organized for the things that they care about. See if they've left instructions with the company or included it in their digital asset trust. After they hire us, so I'll quote a fee, and if they're ready to get started, what I'll do is right then I'll collect a deposit. I'll do it right through our website if they're virtually, if it's a virtual meeting, or if they're even in person, we'll collect the payment right away to get started. So after they made their payment, then it's time to start designing their plan. So in the software here, there's a button to toggle over to drafting instructions. So the attorney will see this drafting instructions button, but it's not visible to the client when they enter their information here. All they can do is just enter this information. Drafting instructions, so attorney will start going through and figuring out what they want to name the trust. If it's a restated trust, we'll use the same name, and then we need the date that it was signed. Right now, we just have Arizona and California. If you're in another state, shoot me an email. Let me know what states we should set up next. But right now, we're just up and running in Arizona and California, the states I practice in. So information, who the successor trustee is. And what's cool is this pulls the information from their kids. And once we enter the name once up here, you can scroll through it later down below. You get to choose at what ages they want to receive. So we can change these to whatever percentage, whatever age. Distribution, specific gifts, and then trust notes. This is designed to be done together with the client. And if we're doing something else, you can just leave some notes like we need a special needs trust for baby estate or whatever it may be. And then the paralegal will go in and make those changes. So that's how we keep it really simple. We have a human to take instructions instead of trying to be a perfect software where there's an option for everything. Spouse, so personal property, usually this is how I like to do it, spouse, lists, and children. Agents, a lot of times it's the same as a trustee, or they can change it. Can't have two people or the same one twice. Or if they get copied from trustee, that'll be the same. Guardians for minor children, maybe it's the same as trustee, maybe it's different, or maybe they don't need it. Financial power of attorney, if they're married, usually their spouses first. If it's the same as a trustee, just hit that button. And then clarify whether their power is available immediately or contingent. Usually it's contingent for people other than a spouse. Who do they want making healthcare decisions? Maybe this is different than the trustees. They want the daughter and the baby. They want Mrs. and son. And then digital asset trust. This is where they would enter the emails. So test at Gmail. So we would figure out what emails they want to allow the trustee to get a list of emails from. And if they have things like Apple iCloud, they want to leave instructions for. So we would need the email that goes with that. A lot of times it's the same, or it's one of their emails they're using. And give instructions. If they're married, we usually say copy to children and spouse, or if they're not married, we say copy to children. And then maybe they have things like Google Drive, Amazon Photos, things like that. We can leave instructions for. And then again, I refer back to the welcome packet, this digital asset inventory and checklist. The order I want them to go through. So inventory, what things do they care about? And then second, check for an online tool, meaning does the company provide a way for you to transfer that account? And if they don't have a good way to transfer it, then we can list it in the digital asset trust. So I always refer back to that. So to get them thinking about accounts, if we're preparing deeds, we can copy that right from the real estate. All right, other notes if we need to make it, then that's it. So this is where the first meeting typically ends. We've collected all the information, and then I'll refer back to the timeline. I say, all right, here's your next steps. So your next steps are to review the drafting instructions and then approve them. And after you approve them, we'll get together for our review meeting. So after the meeting ends, I'll set a task to my paralegal through Maat Legal to send the drafting instructions. She'll email them this link, and here's what it will look like. It'll look like this. So they'll get an email that asks them to approve. So they can go through and look at all the information that they just decided. Now, I found this is easier than sending out the complete documents for people to review. Really, this is the stuff we want them to look at. Just make sure we spelled the names right, make sure we had the right people making decisions for them, the right emails listed. And then also we like to remind them that if they cancel, we'll charge a fee. We rarely charge this fee, but we just don't want people to cancel their appointments. And if they have changes at the signing meeting or changes after they've already signed, there's a fee for that. Again, we rarely charge the fee, but I just want people to actually go through and look at this stuff, take the time to review the information here instead of signing everything and then going, oh, whoops, I actually have a kid. Am I supposed to name them? Or I actually have a middle name or whatever it may be. I'm just trying to make them aware that the later they change it, that the harder it is. And then they can approve it if it's all good to go. Or if they need to make changes, they can let us know. And then after they submit that approval, then my paralegal, the Maat Legal paralegal, will draft everything and get everything ready for this attorney review meeting. In the Maat Legal system, all the attorney work is done with the client. So they're giving the drafting instructions while they're together with the client. They're reviewing the documents together with the client. So this saves a lot of time compared to other ways of doing this. So the Maat Legal process, it also includes the binder, or if you already have your own fancy binders that you're proud of, we'll give you what I call the binder guts, everything that goes inside of it. Because I have a space right after the trust, I have a space to leave financial information. And then in the back miscellaneous section, I also have information about that digital vault that comes together with the process and information for the trustee. We get a lot of questions about what does their successor trustee need to do. So I've prepared some resources in the binder that guide them through the process. So if you want more information about this, I'll leave a link below or a link in the description to the course, the Maat Legal Thinkific course. There's a free preview that shows you what the trust looks like. Arizona, California, if you're ready to get started, you can purchase that course as your way to get started. And we'll get your team set up. We'll get you access to the software and start training your team. If you're not in Arizona and California, if you're in another state, shoot me an email. Let me know what states we need to go into next. Thanks.